It's my scarf. I just decided to use it today. It's been in a thing for like 2 years. I took it out and decided I'm going to be using it.
Very nice.
Okay, so we are live for real this time, right? Let's get started with our intro. Hello, Christine. How are you?
I am
I love.
great. How are
I
you?
always love. Yeah, I'm good. I always love our little technical hiccups. I try using something else with a bigger screen, so I'd have a more
Right.
presence in the screen. But then I don't know what's happening in the volume on the other side, so I have it checked out later. But whatever, it's all good. I'm back to my good old trustworthy one I use all the time. I'm back to it. Good old faithful is always there.
Faithful.
Yes. So how have you been?
I I'm getting better and better, I have to say. You know about our little drama that started to unfold last Wednesday night. And so, it's been a very trying few days. But yeah, coming along. The thing is, Cheryl, we never pretend to be what we are not, because that would
Yeah.
be inauthentic, and it's never our intention to pretend that we are perfect, because we're not. And so, just like everyone else who will look at this conversation, they'll accept it, they'll appreciate that we go through stuff too, and we deal with stuff too. And so, for those who are going to look at this either now, a little later, or any other day, that's a function of life itself, right?
Jesus went through it. Okay.
Amen.
Who
Yes, he did.
who are we? Okay, that's all I have to say about that. Anywho, people, welcome to our subscribers, those who have, subscribed to our channel, those who will subscribe hopefully soon, those who will listen today and who will listen later. I want to welcome you all. YouTube, please promote our videos. You know, I want to. The reason I want to build this channel organically. I do not want to pay all these people who've been trying to send me thing where I can pay them to get subscribers. To me, that's like cheating. It's either resonating with people as a channel that means something, or it's not resonating. So I don't know
Correct.
about paying to get subscribers. I really am not into that kind of thing, right? So I'm just asking for you all to, those people who come and view and do nothing, please view and subscribe. That's how the algorithm works. That's the only way that we will become something known on the YouTube in the YouTube streets. Okay? So
Yes.
I'm Cheryl Diane, and I am an international keynote speaker. I am an author, I'm a trainer, I'm an image consultant, all those hats. That's me, that's me, that's me. Okay? And this is
Christine Francois, wellness coach, former banker for very many years. Loved banking and taking care of my clients. So that's the main thread that goes through all of my life. Looking after people and loving them. That's been my journey. I'm also a former corporate communications executive, as well as an event management consultant and business owner from the event perspective. And yeah, and a business development consultant for the last, I don't know, a long time. It's been a long time. So just like you, Cheryl, wearing very many hats, just delighted to be serving humanity, friends, family, and people who will come across us, maybe here, maybe in other spaces, live and online. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And the links to connect to us are in the description right down below here. If you go there, you'll see our link tree connections, and everything you want to know about us is in there. And we would love to connect with anyone and everyone. Let's see how best we can serve each other. Okay.
Correct.
Today,
Absolutely.
Today our topic is about can I not speak today? Today our topic is on self-care. But before we start on the self-care, I always have some little, not really a rant today, something to say, about other things besides what we're talking about before we start our real topic, right? So
Yes.
today would have been Shanquella Robinson's 26th birthday, right?
Ouch.
I do not wish dead people happy birthday because she can't hear me, and I don't believe in that kind of thing. But today, I just remember, just a reminder that she was alive and that she was taken out of this world unfairly. And today, had she been here with us, she would have celebrated 26 years on this planet, which is, I mean, like a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
She didn't even start to live. Unfortunately, things happened and she's not here anymore. And I pray that justice comes to her family for her. Not for, not, just for on her behalf, justice comes to her family. Other thing I want to talk about is that the Idaho 4, we have to stay in current what's happening currently in the world. The Idaho students that got taken out as well. They've charged this one young man for their unaliving, as usual people would say. And the thing about it is that I have all kind of thoughts about it. Now, I'll just say my thoughts. My thoughts are they had to hold somebody. They had to arrest somebody. I'm not convinced that this person who they arrested is the person. If he is, kudos to them, and I hope the families as well get justice, because that was a terrible, terrible, terrible crime and it was awful. But my whole thing is how this one person could have done all of that, and it had some strange who took 6 hours before they called for help, and I just was really strange. So that's just my 2 cents worth of current things that are happening. And of course, it is so good to see that finally the US has a speaker, controversial as it is, and I loved Hakeem Jeffries' alphabet, the best since Sesame Street. His alphabet at the end of handing over the gavel to the new Speaker of the House. And in Trinidad and Tobago here, we are nominating a new president. So our current president comes out of office in March. Steps away from office in March. So we are in the throes of nomination. And I have to say, this me here, we have no say in the whole thing, We love to see Christine Campbell as our president. She's a beautiful lady, well adjusted, a nice human being. I would love to see her as our next president, following after our first female president who's stepping out of office in 2 months' time. That's just my say about that. And in the words of one of my favorite YouTubers, that's all I have to say about that. Okay? Right. So today we are talking about self-love. And there's a reason for that. I deal with a lot of people on a daily basis. And this person here, is not perfect. Just making a declaration. Far from. But I try my best to be an upstanding citizen and to do what I know is what I think and I know is right. Okay? Now, the reason for this topic is that, I don't know how many times in the last, you keep getting these conversations about women not liking themselves.
Right.
And I always say, most of us, even those who say they don't, most of us want companionship. Most of us want a man to love us. Right? Most of us. And I don't know how somebody else, another human being, will come into your life and love you if you don't love yourself. And then a lot of people promoting self-care. And the self-care is all about candles and scents and stuff. Anybody who knows me knows it's part of my life. I've had a spa for
many years.
Right? So it is part of my life. I love taking care of people at that level and encouraging people to take care of themselves, men and women, right? Because I also male clients as well. Even though I mainly deal with women, a lot of women brought their husbands to me, their sons to me. So, to my business, please, not to me, to my business, and we served all of them, right? So that part of the self-care is something that I
It's understood.
100% believe in. Right. I
Yes.
believe in it. But I think there's a little superficial thing going on with that. Everybody's jumping in to the candle thing and the scent thing and having videos about self-care and blah, blah, blah. And all they can talk about is the music and the all the woo things, right? All the woo things. But self-care and self-love goes deeper than that, right? It says here, self-love is a state of appreciation for oneself goes from actions that support our physical, psychological, and spiritual growth. So it's not about one little thing.
Yes.
It's
Multifaceted.
about a holistic thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is not easy to accomplish and will not be the same every single day. There are days when you will feel like awful and rotten. I never feel like I'm ugly. That's the truth. Honestly speaking, I don't know about anybody. I don't ever feel like I'm ugly, but I sometimes do feel like, oh my God. And I have been feeling that since the year started. I am actually suffering from anxiety. And I will be straight up with that.
Right.
Because 2022 was such a tough year for me financially. Really, really hard. Every day I'm thinking, oh my God, today is day number 8. Today is day number 9. And I
Right.
haven't had any work as yet. And I am being honest about it. I'm putting everything out there. I'm doing my marketing. I'm doing my pushing. I'm doing whatever it is. But I cannot lie to say that I am in a woosah place. I'm trying to be calm, but I can feel it. And whenever I'm
Yes.
anxious like that, I feel my lower back becomes tense and I feel pain in my lower back. And the
Right.
last couple of days, I could not even exercise the last 2 mornings. It was
Oh,
that
wow.
painful. I couldn't go out and walk. It was bad. And when I
Yes.
got up from the good things I slept. But when I got up from sleep, I realized, wow, they can't get up and go. They can't try to walk without pain. It was too painful. And I know the source of my pain. So what I'm saying is we need to know ourselves, right? But I do love myself. I do take care of myself. But there are one of those times sometimes when I become overwhelmed. So I don't want anybody to figure out this topic when I talk about self-love, that I'm just all this perfect person who does everything and who knows everything.
You have it
It
all
ain't happening.
together.
It
Yes.
ain't so, honey. It ain't so. I am busy marketing, pushing myself, pushing my books to sale, my online training, promoting myself as a speaker, wanting work. I need to work because I have bills to pay. If I can't pay my bills, I don't sleep. I'm one of those persons who don't like to even check my mailbox when I don't have money because I don't know what's in there to be paid.
Right.
Right? I'm most comfortable when my bills are paid up. So that's where I am. So I say that upfront so people know when I'm talking what I'm talking here, I'm talking in a general sense about self-love and self-care. And it's not pointing fingers at anybody, because this here, right now, need to relax. And if I have pain to go away from my back, I'm going to start back my exercise. This is my walking routine in the mornings, which I love to do. I want to get back into my walking, and I want to have that peace of mind. And it leads me sometimes to wonder, what am I not doing?
Yes.
I'm not blaming anybody, but I ask myself, is there something else I need to do for this to change? Why is this happening? I'm not unprepared. I'm very prepared in terms of training, whatever I need to have put in place, it's there. So I'm asking the question to myself and to everybody, because I have, like I said, friends that can fit in one hand without reaching the fifth finger. What else do I need to do to get myself out there again, like it was before, um 2020, up on the beginning, not up until 20. What do I
Yes.
have to do to get myself back on that role of working like I was before the pandemic, the world pandemic? So I'm
Right.
just saying this to let you all know that I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm not trying to shade anybody. I am just another human being who really wants answers and will really love to work, because I don't just want to work because I want to pay my bills, honey bunch. I'm not making joke of that. That needs to happen. So I put myself out there. So we're talking about self-love today. So I'm going to read a few things and then Christine will have her 2 cents thing. I'm not staying on the stage forever. That's not who I am. But I felt that I need to explain that. Because sometimes on
Yeah.
these topics, people think that your life is perfect. One of the driving forces behind this topic is that so many women, apart from finding fault with themselves, go through such pressure to try to change their appearance. Not only that, following other people. They're influenced by all kinds of foolishness and not being themselves. So they begin to hate without realizing they hate on themselves, eh? Because
Yes.
they're trying to change everything. Then we have a whole bunch of women in certain parts of the world that look like clones. They have the exact same body, the exact same boob, the exact same face, because these surgeons don't have another pattern. They're using the same pattern over and over again. So these women just look the same over and over again. God gave each of us a different thumbprint. Each of, or not one of, even a twin, your prints are going to be different, right? Your DNA may match, but there are certain things about you that are different. Why would I want to look like Christine? She's beautiful, but I don't want Christine's face. I like my face. Why would I want her body? It looks good, but I like mine. I can keep mine healthy, right? By my exercise, by my eating, by my sleeping, by my thinking. That's the other thing too. A lot of it sometimes, you might be eating well and whatever, but you're not thinking well. It's thought process. So I want to say it's a holistic thing. It's a whole thing. It's not just one thing or two things. It's a lot of things you have to put in your place. And the first thing I tell anybody, before you get into the physical and the exercise and the food, that mindset has to shift. And building a foundation, what people call a spiritual foundation. I call my relationship with God is important, right? Building that solid foundation, knowing whose you are. So when all kinds of things are falling down around you, right? Like how I feel right now, like, oh my God, what's happening? I know that God has not left me. I have that faith to know that He is there still, even though I might be feeling overwhelmed by my life right now. I know that He's there still. So, Christine, share before I move on any further. Because I've been talking and talking, and people know I like to talk. I don't mind, I love to talk, Whatever. I am glad God gave me a voice. Let me tell you something. I am glad
Amen
He
to
gave me
that.
a presence that I could show up. Because many people can't show up. They don't know how to. I dare to show up.
Well,
Go ahead,
Cheryl,
my friend.
you know, I'm so grateful for you and the fact that you are willing to be. And I think this word is used all the time, and the meaning is correct. Being authentic, being true to who you are. That's so vitally important. It's vitally important because, and again, I agree with you. We're both women of faith, and I've been going through my own challenges over the last week with a missing pet. And prior to that, my mom had a heart attack. And that was just like 1 week and then into the next week. So it's just one thing after the other. And oftentimes we can feel, oh my Lord, can I make it through this? What gives me strength? And it's what we know as a fact, as people of faith, as women of faith, that God shall never leave us nor forsake us. He is with us all the time, nanoseconds, and split those even smaller. He is with us always. Sometimes we hear Him and not a voice inside our heads. Maybe some people do, but we see evidence of His guidance, and some other times there is the silence. It's like my favorite bishop, T.D. Jake, says, it's like going somewhere and having the GPS, and she says, turn right at the next intersection. And then you might be driving and you're saying, but wait, there's this long stretch, and why am I not hearing her again? And now you're thinking something's wrong. Maybe Miss GPS has broken. But the fact is, she won't speak until another crossroad or another turn has to be made, or the direction has to be adjusted. And it is in the times of silence that I have found personally we can become anxious. I too have the experience of being concerned, and more than concerned, anxious about our financial status. So many of us have done quite well in the years leading up to 2020, and 2020 really marked a big change for not just you and I, Cheryl, but for people around the world. Women tend to have it, I find, a little bit harder because many times financial institutions don't have the protocols, they don't have the infrastructure, they don't have the planning in place to support women. Even globally, women are less supported than men in business. And so that's why a lot of technologies, it has come about to support women who are looking to be entrepreneurs and to support their families and so on. But self love, and I agree with you, self love is not just the physical. Self love is, what am I saying to myself? So if we start from a foundational point, as you suggested, of what does God say about us? Yes? What does He say about us? Then we know that that is the truth. We have to enunciate this over and over. Remember. And when we are not seeing the progress that we want to see, we have to recall, what did He do for us in the past when we thought we could not go on, when we were in challenging situations? What showed up? What things did we do? Who did we connect with? What else do we have to do? It's very difficult. I myself, when I am anxious, when I'm anxious, I can't focus well. So definitely, I think we all have had those experiences, but self-love again starts with God's word. What does He say about us? Us remembering, recalling all that He has said, saying them back to ourselves, because it is said scientifically more than 60,000 thoughts we have about ourselves on a daily basis, and most of them are negative. So we have to recall, remember, and help that mindset, take the actions to keep our mind in the right gear. And then we start seeing things, maybe small things, turn around. But sometimes, yeah, girl, I know it. Sometimes it feels like a really long haul before we get to that next point. So, um, you live in the world of the candles and the aromatherapy and all of that, and all of those things help. Sound therapy, all of that helps. But if not you, Cheryl, personally, but if we don't get our mind right, self-love begins with the mind. A lot of people told me, I remember some time ago I was telling someone, and I didn't do it this morning, but because I found this song on Facebook Shorts, and I was so enraptured by it. Of course, a researcher that I am, I went digging to find the source, and it was Adele's "Go Easy on Me." That song that Kanye West changed around to a worship song. And that thing, it was like heaven right here in my house. And I played it over and over, 42 seconds, Cheryl. And I said, what is the source? And I just found it just before we came on.
Okay.
a
Right,
2 hour
right.
service. It was beautiful. And I said, self love too comes from knowing, thinking to yourself, what do I need to not just be saying to myself, but how do I fill my spirit? How do I just elevate my mind and my thoughts and my spirit closer to God so that I can navigate all the other things that, and then of course there's reading. What books are we reading? What supports our goals and so on. So I know I've gone on for a little bit, but truly it begins with the mind, the
Yes,
the
it does.
transformation of the mind. And
The
that,
mind,
as
yeah.
Napoleon Hill has said, is one of the most difficult things that mankind will ever have to do. There you go.
As a man thinketh, let me tell you something. One of the things I have learned in life before we continue with this self-love thinking is that sometimes all it takes is for one negative thought to come into your mind. You know,
Yes.
like you wake up and you're overwhelmed, you say a prayer, but you're still feeling kind of whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And it's not about you don't love yourself. But that one thought, if you allow it to fester,
Mm.
it turns into other things and other things and other
Snowball
things. And
effect.
one thought will, and you even go back into your past, into things that you don't even want to be thinking about. It
Yes.
sends you back there. Things that happen that should not happen, things that upset you. It just keeps going on and on. And to me, that's a big part of self love. When you love yourself, you're not going to allow that to happen to you. We have, I think, on that issue, full control over where we allow our thoughts to go because we can capture our thoughts.
Yes.
It's not easy to do, but we have to learn to to pull it in. When it starts to go there, because I tell you, mine could be like a story. I could sit down just like that and create a whole story and non-positive. I'm telling you. Because I've had things happen in my life, and because you could forget but you don't forget, and because you thought of one thing or something might happen, it just keeps going and going and going and going, and next thing you find yourself in an angry mood, you find yourself not in a good place. People can look at your face and see that something is wrong, and that kind of thing, and you have outbursts on people who don't even deserve it and don't know why you shout at me. You find yourself in a really negative space, and that's
Yeah.
not good for your heart. It's not good for your well-being at all. It is not good for you. It is not good for you. So, I mean, yeah, yeah. So I was talking about anyway. Self-love. We go back to that. Means I got some notes. Some, of course, my friend Mr. Google, right?
Dr.
The
Google.
world's, the world's largest library, right? I mean, these are things I know, but sometimes you just need to research and reiterate in your head, and you're not just talking, right? But not just babbling. Means having a high regard for your own well-being and happiness. And that goes back to that thing that we get every single time we fly in an airplane. Even people who've never been in an airplane, they've heard that so many times in their life to put on your oxygen mask first.
First.
If you don't look after yourself, don't care how much makeup you put on, how many designer outfits you have, how big the house is, what type of car you drive. You don't take care of yourself, because those things not taking care of yourself. Those things are just things that you accomplish,
Yes.
right? Let's say your mind's not in the right place, or you're not doing the right things, you're not sleeping well, that kind of thing. Let me tell you something, you will fall apart. You've got to learn to take care of yourself, and we have to make a conscious effort to take care of ourselves. Taking care of ourselves means sometimes one of my friends will actually hear me say it. She said, I mustn't say that. I said, but no, I like to say it all the time, and because I believe in it. Getting a little selfish or a little vain. Thinking about me a little bit. This is about me. Because when I am good, I could call Christine and offer something good to her. I could be good to my sons. I could be good to my neighbors. If I am not good, I can't give anything to anybody else. So
Correct.
sometimes it needs just kind of like putting things aside and kind of looking at yourself alone in a vain way, almost like on an airplane and there's trouble. And you put that mask on first before you look to see who next to you. So you could breathe for when you could breathe and take in that oxygen. Then you could look to help the person next to the person behind you.
Absolutely.
You cannot do it if you're not in a good place, right? So to me, that's what that means, right? And self-love also means taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well-being to please others. I know people personally who do that. Well, you know, she wanted it, but it's yours and you needed it too, right? I'm not saying not to share, but just to please others, you're doing this. And then you
Right.
don't have what you need to function. And then you, I don't know if they think that's taking them to heaven. I don't know. I didn't read any Bible. If you're not in the Bible, I don't come to me with that. You know, whatever. We need to take care of our own needs first. We can't keep sacrificing ourselves for others. It comes back to the same oxygen mask, right? You're trying to help the person next to you, but then you can't breathe. You're not getting your air. So guess what happens? You faint and you could pass out. And then you still can't help that person, right? And you may end up, as the people say, unalive, right? Or in a really deep, dark place. I have been there, so I could talk about that. Being in a place where, not hating people, but not wanting to be around anybody at all. Wanting to be by myself because I was so absorbed in my mental stories. There were so many of them just going on and on and on and on inside of
Right.
there. And it's a terrible place to be, right? Self-love means to accept yourself fully. If you have cross eyes, a big nose, a small nose, a big head, long hair, short hair, if you don't accept yourself fully, then you'll always have problems. You gotta love who you are. Because I always remind my participants whenever I have my forums that God knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. He knew exactly who you are. And I don't know who's the person. I've done research, never found a name of a person who decided what beauty was. It's a question I always have. What is true beauty? That everybody, that's why you'll never see me taking part in the Miss World pageants and the Miss Universe pageants and the Miss this. You'll never see me being a part of that. I've never been a part of it. I will look, and you know people who participate, but I am not a part of that because I do not know that somebody can judge true beauty by somebody's physical appearance. That's not to me what true beauty means. I'm just saying, not against anybody. Do your thing, you do you, right? I will
Right.
do, right? It encompasses everything, treatment of oneself, but also thoughts and feelings about yourself. That's what self-love is. Christine, say something.
Well, it would be interesting if we could find out who decided what beauty was, but also acknowledging that I guess it's a function of what society deemed beauty in different times in our history. If we look back to, I was just trying to find the actual century, but there was a time that full figured, and I don't mean skinny fat. I am talking about buxom. That was the gold standard of beauty in Europe, in the US, etc. If you think about women, like, and she wasn't really, well, she's so buxom, but Marilyn Monroe was not real thin. She was a
Yep.
voluptuous woman. And, you look at what was considered beautiful for each stage of our development. And it's just been different things. Now, the challenge comes in when we think that we've got to mold ourselves into any particular standard. Because just recently I was looking at body types, and it was a fabulous picture of, I think it was about 15 to 20 athletes. I think it was a French photographer did a photo shoot of all of these different athletes. Cheryl, they came in all shapes and sizes, all wearing the same thing, right? Black underwear, nice full top, nice full panties. And each of these women was just a spectacular specimen, different shapes. Let's take a look at the women who are shot putters. They aren't real thin. When you look
Nope.
at the women who are high jumpers, right? When you look at the women who, I mean, like, wow, you talk about long distance runners. They come, some are long, very, very long women. They're very, it's like the animal kingdom. You've got the rhinoceros, you've got the gazelle, you've got the giraffe. And I'm not measuring women against animals. Don't take me wrong now, people. But when you look at God's creations, each one having a place and a purpose on this earth, it's similar, and it's true for men too. So we're not saying this is not relatable to men too, but it seems that so often we focus on women. What do women look like? What should they look like? And you've got women who are strong, as we would say in the Caribbean, strong, strapping women. They're muscular. They've got big bones. And you look at their history, and each one is beautiful. You know, each one is beautiful. And we're not going to go into obesity and stuff like that. This is not that. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about women who are naturally, I mean, they came out of their mother's womb, they grew up, they either they're skinny, they're long, they're short, they've got an H frame, a pear shape, a rectangular shape, and they're all beautiful. So, I think we have got to get out of this box, which is a trap, that we have to measure up to somebody's expectation of us to be a particular kind of beautiful. I remember many years ago, Cheryl, I fell into that trap. I mean, honestly, I was very young. And, it was like, oh, but I'm not pretty because my teeth aren't straight. My complexion is X. And we were being force fed. Media does this, huh? Media does this. Force fed, depends on what we're looking. We talk about in the Bible the eye gate. What are we looking at? Why are we judging ourselves? And then of course, I think I was maybe in my 40s when I just said, check it all. I'm just gonna love me. And now I'm 61 years old. And I'm just gonna love me, take me or leave me. I am wonderful and I'm gorgeous and I'm loved. And guess who? God loves me and I love me too. So in the mornings, most mornings, I would get up and I would look in the mirror and say, gosh, you're beautiful. I love you. You know, we've got to love ourselves, but it comes first from a place of what our thoughts are, you know?
As a man thinking, I have in my corridor four paintings. It's called the Four Muchas. There's
Mucha.
history behind it. Mucha,
Okay.
Mucha. I think the guy was Italian,
Mm.
and he fell into like poverty and whatever it is, and he decided to do some art to make money. And he started painting his daughters. You could Google it and you'll see it. There's a
Yes.
story behind it. And he started to paint his daughters, and because of those paintings, he became famous. I happen to have four of those paintings. That one of those girls in that picture is what they will call beautiful today, called a voluptuous. They're all full figure, beautiful girls, long hair, right? And he painted his daughters, and that's what brought him to fame. Today, he can afford, those are gifts I got from me to buy even a replica of the four Muchas. It's expensive,
Yeah.
right? But they're full figured women. We went to see Johan's godfather, yes, he's in his 90th year this year. You talk about a nice old man, always put together. And he always makes you laugh. And yesterday he was saying to us, he said, let me tell you all something. He talked about going for his facials, but he had a stroke some time ago. So, but he's recovered. He's all right. But
Right.
but his wife didn't want him to go to the spa anymore. He used to go to the spa every month, face massage and his facials and his stuff. He take it. He said, because you know what? I want every time I look in that mirror, I say, wow, I'm in love with that man in the mirror. He's really, yeah, I'm telling you, but let me, ever since I met him all those years ago, let me, I remember telling Johan's dad, I said, this man, he was always put together. Let me tell you something. I mean, like put together.
Right.
Till up to his 90th year, still the same way. His home
Right.
is beautiful. His car is nice. So he embraced all these things. He's all around him. Takes care of whatever. Takes care of whatever. That's how he is. Never a drinker, never a smoker. Take care of his
Wow.
body. Right? And he said it. He said he had a girlfriend. He had his wife was talking about, what are you talking about? He said he had some girlfriend years ago. He said, ma'am, you know, both of us have something in common. We are both in love with you. Or something like that. Or something that, you know, because you're so in love with yourself, you know.
Of
And you know,
course.
it's a good attitude to have. It's a good attitude to have, right? There's too much pressure in the world about who's good looking and who's ugly. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of those who are called pretty have such ugly ways. I call ways ugly. I call behavior ugly. So they're not pretty in my eyes. They have ugly behavior, right? But the world tend to kind of cancel off that behavior and still say they're pretty. I can't see the prettiness in you if you're behaving like that. I can't see the prettiness in a woman if she all her life is to pull on another woman, which a lot of it happens in the world. Some of them get on social media. They don't even know you. And telling you about your face and your face this and your face that. And I'm like, who are you? Who are you? You're so unhappy that you choose to come on social media just so and pick out somebody and start talking about the face and the looks and who pretty and who's something with the nose and something with the hair. What is your story? That speaks to me to be a very fractured person who doesn't have anything else to do with themselves than to come on social media and just troll through things and look at people and say things. I saw an article where somebody was talking about and it's got me so angry because right now I'm very angry right now with Prince Harry and Meghan and this family washing in public, right? And they were saying that Kate Middleton and William aging like bananas, they look so awful. That's not true. That's not true. It is not true. It is not true. And we blaming the media, mainstream media for that. But a lot of those things happen inside the families who like to talk about complexion. In Trinidad, is he fair like his brother? Is he good looking like his brother? They love to talk about kind who have good hair and who have bad hair. Caribbean people are like that, right? So it starts sometimes, not even with the media. It starts inside of the homes and families, picking apart people's looks and somebody always know who don't look like the parents, and it might not be that person's child. It goes all the way back to that because one of Harry's problems, apart from his mother dying when he was only 12 years old, is the fact that he was always called the spear, right? And that's so unfair because there's a chain of command in their family, and he just happened to be one after his brother. So the brother's next in line. He just happened to be one after the brother, so he's not his peer. Why? And then they started saying, "Oh, he looks like somebody who needs to teach him how to ride, and it must be he probably." So he knows all of these things. So his insecurities were fed, and then he met somebody who has an ego and as wild as, I don't know, something out there in the wild, and she wants to be known for whatever it is, and she decides to come, and she fed his little ego and pumped him up. So he's out there now battling with his brother, or they had a fight once. I don't know if you never fought with your sister or your brother. I certainly fought. I never fought with my sisters, but I fought with my brothers when we were growing up. I fell out with my sisters. I don't know if there's a family that didn't have arguments or whatever it is. So he and William had a fight. So there are two boys. So what? If they had said they never quarreled and they never fought, I would say they're very unusual. That's a lie. So what is the big thing about that? You know what I mean? So all of these things now coming up as those are negative. And you could tell the gist of where this book is going and all these things. It is wrong, it is wrong, it is wrong. But again, I wouldn't say the family, but I think a lot of media cause him to feel insecure and less than. And he just happened to meet somebody because he was good until he met her. He knew he was the peer, as they said. He knew he was the second and he was going to be king. He knew all of that all the time. But all of a sudden now it's a big problem. Now he has to out the whole family and bad talk everybody. Why? Because he got somebody to help to stroke his thing and try to make him feel thing wrong. He need to get some therapy. So I pray for that to happen and he's working with his family and she could do whatever she wants with her life. Anyway, that's a sidebar onto what I'm talking about here, right? But self-love is what does it say here? It encompasses not just the treatment of oneself, but also the thoughts and feelings about yourself. It says to make yourself 6 points. Make yourself the number one priority. We spoke about it with the mask, right? The oxygen mask, right? Stop. What's that word I wrote there? Something, I don't know. Oh, stop criticizing yourself. Because people criticize themselves. I had to speak to somebody 2 days ago about that. Oh, you like that picture of me? My forehead's so big. I say, wow. If I tell you you're ugly, what would you say? She started to laugh. I say, so if you say about yourself, I can tell you you're ugly, right? You want me to tell you that, right? So stop saying that, but that's the forehead God gave you. That's your forehead. Okay? Right. Self-praise. A lot of time women do not like to praise themselves. And when I say, I don't mean show off. But one of the things I remember, this was like 2 years ago. No, 3 years ago. It had to be 3 years ago because COVID has been for 3 years. Our AFET's last Women in Leadership Conference. I think this woman is either CEO or something of Royal Bank, the first female.
Right.
And she spoke about that. And she said, you know what? You have your diploma, you have your bachelor's, you have your master's, you have a PhD, but you don't want to tell anybody anything because you don't want to sound as though you're boasting about yourself. He says, speak up and say who you are. Speak up and say who you are. That is self-praise. I am worthy of everything good. I am worthy of everything that's good. I'm worthy of everything that's kind and good in this world. Because the Bible said that because I'm a child of God, no good thing would God withhold from me. It's written in that book. So I am worthy of everything that's good. So that's my self-praise about myself. I am very talented. Like I told somebody recently, I am very artsy. I've always been a very artistic person. I did art in school at O levels. I can draw things. I can decorate. I just have a natural knack to it. Maybe that's how did you? Sometimes I can't tell you. I could do things like that. There's some things I can't bake bread. I can't make a loaf of bread to save my life. If I was have to sell bread for a living, I'd probably be on the street. I can't make bread. But I could decorate your house. I could cook other things, right? I could dress you, right? So I am artistic, very artistic, right? So I could talk about who I am. That's praise for me. That's not boasting. That's who I am. I am artistic. If you want help in that area, I can come and help you in that area because that's my natural sort of something. That's who I am, right? And we don't like to praise ourselves because we feel like, no. Don't dumb down yourself for anybody, right? Taking care of your body. Well, that's Christine's thing here, right? Taking care of your body. It means eating right, exercising right. It doesn't mean going overboard and doing foolishness and eating nonsense and killing yourself in the gym every day. But it means eating right, being healthy, taking care of getting enough sleep, having your right thoughts. All of that goes into taking care of your body, right? Be your own best friend, please. Be your own best friend. And you know what else too? Accept yourself. All your negativity, that thing people say about you, your head big, your forehead big, you have a big nose, accept yourself. Because with women, it's so easy. Learn how to contour when you're doing your makeup. You could contour that nose and make it look as sharp as anything else, right? Why I always tell people, you have assets. Play up your assets. There's always something about you that you like more than something else. You might like your bust line, might like your figure, you might like your hair. Play up those parts of you, right? Learn to accept what you would consider to be the negativity about you. And that's all I have to say about that. Christine.
I love your 6 tips, ladies. That's something to write down. Just think about it, make it part of your daily activity, your mantra. Love yourself. So many people talk, and we started this conversation somewhere around relationships. The human beings were made to not be isolated, but to live in community. So we live in commune with our God Father, but we also need to live in community with each other. Last week, guys, Cheryl and I went out and had an amazing time together. We had lunch
Yeah.
together. We went to a beautiful restaurant. We admired the beautiful surroundings that we were in. It was just a fabulous time. We were meant to commune. We were meant
Yeah.
to be in fellowship and friendship with each other. When we have good friends, and I don't mean fake friends, guys, when we have really good friends, they help to foster that feeling of just acknowledging the beauty that is between us, amongst us. So do that and make sure that as you accept yourself, yeah, Cheryl is right. Play up, play up all of the things that you love about you. Like I just love me. I've been working on me for a very long time. I am in love with me. And Cheryl, this morning I did get up and I felt energized. And even while, guys, our kitty is still MIA, I acknowledge that if I just allow myself to fall apart, I'm not going to be doing good for myself or for my family or for the people that depend on me. But I have to take care of myself first. So I got up this morning, I worked out, I cleaned, I mopped, I did everything, and then got ready to sit here with my good friend Cheryl and have a conversation with you. So, yes, make sure that the people that you have around you, that's the next thing. It
Yeah.
is said that you are the sum of your five closest friends. Choose wisely. Choose wisely. It's not to say that you have to cancel anyone. No, I'm not saying that. You may have to do an assessment. Are these people that you call your friends feeding your soul? Are they helping to elevate you, encourage you, or are they drawing you down? Review. And don't cancel unless you have a couple of really negative friends who weren't ever your friends. But you may have to love some people from afar and find a new group. If you are the smartest person in your group, find a new group. People who help to expand your mind, make you think, be more creative, challenge the status quo. What are you thinking? Do they challenge you? I suggest you do an assessment of the people around you. And some of the people that you may have to love from afar just could be family as well. So be it. You have a purpose on this earth, a wonderful thing that God gave to you with your gifts and your talents. Fall in love with that which God is in love with. And God is in love with you. So that's my 2 cents, Cheryl.
Yep. 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 That's more than 2 cents. That's your $1 billion comment. Okay? It's worth
There you go.
something. It's worth
There you
something.
go.
Right? That's another thing. We probably said, that's my 2 cents worth. And I kind of wonder where that came from.
I
I'm not
don't
challenging
know.
saying that. I'm just saying, when you think about it, it's not a really positive statement to make. You have to think about it, right?
Yes,
Our
it's
two
true.
cents worth. Kind of like cheap, you know what I mean? That's we can just say that's my. But that has been said so many times over years. I say it all the time without even realizing it. Paying
Well,
it
let's
back
change it.
while we on this topic,
Yes.
the topic. kind of hear back like, oh, 2 cents. Not 2 cents. That was a worthy $1 billion suggestion,
Concept.
comments, whatever you call it, right? A concept. So yeah, that was worthy. Or just say worthy. You don't even have to put a value to it. It's worthy. Rather than saying 2 cents sweet. I don't know. Like people say, girl, I poor and I black, yes. I don't know what that means.
No. Like, no.
I don't know what that means. I mean, please give me a job. See the poor and the black part, keep it out of my thing. I am God's child, right? With every single good thing on this earth. That's who I am. So they got all the other pronouns and adjectives about it, and that's who I am. Worthy of everything good, right? And all of us have assets. I mean, I want you to love your whole self, but you may have beautiful arms. So you have the arms, wear things that show your arms, right? You may have a fabulous figure, when you close out flatter your figure. You may have lovely toes. So when I say play up your better parts, that's what I mean. I don't mean don't like your fingers and don't like it. No, like everything. But there's some things that you can play up more because that's what you have. That's the nicest part of you. That's it. So let's learn to love ourselves. Self-love and self-care, really very important in 2023. I'm going to be working really hard at mine. I've always loved myself and I take care of myself because I teach that and I do it as part of my life. But sometimes as a human being, like I said, the last couple of days, I have been anxious and that's not self-care. So I have to work on that. At this moment, honestly speaking, I don't know how to come down from it. I have to really say some prayers. I'm trying to come down from that level of anxiety and let it go and let God. Let it happen. I'm trying to come down, but I am still there. Even as I'm speaking to you, I cannot tell a lie like who was George Washington call me cherry tree. I cannot tell a lie. If that's it, it's not true statement. I don't even know. I can't tell her I am feeling anxious because tomorrow is day number 10. And before you know it, we're in the middle of the month.
Yes.
And let me tell you something. As God hear my voice here today on this live stream, I do not want to have another 2020, another year like that. It was tough. It was hard. I came to because of faith. And my body and my mind is tired. So I'm just being put it out there. So folks, in conclusion, please subscribe to this channel. We're not beaten down on all the current issues and sitting down there judging the man, Brian Koberger, who they said unalive the students, and like if we know for sure he was there, and saying things that we don't know about, and look at his hand, look at his eyes, we're not doing that. We are speaking about real issues, so we're going to cover it because it is a current issue and something very serious, but we talk things that could relate to other women. That's what we're here for. So please, when you view, subscribe, tell your friends about us, because with YouTube, if you don't like and subscribe, then we just sit down talking to each other and that's it. Doesn't make sense, right? Okay. So in closing, down below in the description are the 2 links to get in touch with these 2 fine ladies. Christine Francois, who's my Thelma. I didn't say this weekend, but let me tell you, I really want us to be Thelma and Louise this year. Because I feel I want to be bad. I feel I want to be rogue in a good way. I want to just really rock and roll. So feel as Thelma and Louise. But I have to get permission from you to file if you really want to be part of that kind of a rebellious team. But because we can rebel in a positive way, right? I want to rebel positive. Really want to get up and get things done. I've done so much and I've put so much in place. I can't sit down here and wait for my phone to ring. I've got to get up and get. Okay? So I will take the Thelma part. I must Google and search one was the worst one. So whoever was the worst between Thelma and Louise, I'll be that one, right? And you can take the other side. Okay? So close off, Christina. Yes, but what are your closing remarks? We are in the links are right there in the description. Yes.
I think it's been a great conversation. Self-love, ladies, and for the men who are joining us too, super important. there's a lot of noise, noise, um, distraction happening, and we can be led down a rabbit hole from where there's no coming out. So let us get focused on who we are, who God says we are, for those here who are of faith persuasion, who God says we are. Thelma and Louise, Christine Diane, and Cheryl Diane. Yes, we do have the same Christine Diane and Cheryl Diane. Um, we we are a little bit of a revolutionaries in a very good way. In a very good way, and excited to come out here and spend a little time with you every week just to talk about things that are important to women of our age. Because let's face it, we are full of wisdom. We've gone through some stuff and we can help others. So, like, comment, subscribe. If there's anything that you would like us to cover, drop it in the comments. And of course, we will certainly once it is not inflammatory, we will certainly love to cover it. So that's pretty much for me today. Just love yourself, ladies, because guess what? You are daughters of a king.
Goody, goody, goody. Nice. And we are heading out. We are heading out.